With the Ontario election just days away, I got my hands on video footage of a member of Ontario Premier Doug Ford's cabinet, a minister, appearing to lie about the Greenbelt scandal to an Ontario resident while he was out door knocking for the election. Yeah. See, when Ontario Procurement Minister Todd McCarthy was speaking to Lisa Crompton, he must not have realized that he was being recorded on her Ring doorbell. So when he seemed to tell her that a very real video of Doug Ford speaking about carving up and selling the Greenbelt was AI, and that Ford spoke to developers about this was fake news, he probably didn't realize that people would hear about it. Oops. Sorry, Todd. So I'm going to give you some context about why this matters, and then we are going to watch the key part of this footage together. See, in case you forgot, the Greenbelt scandal was a very, very big deal. And even if you're not an Ontarian, even if you're not a Canadian, you should care about this. Here's why. Basically, it emerged that Doug Ford was going to open up a chunk of the Greenbelt for development, specifically to build homes. But the Greenbelt, as you might already know, is a swath of protected land and one of the most biologically rich areas in all of Canada. It's fantastic farmland, and it's full of vital resources that clean our air, our water, reduce flood risks, and protect at-risk species. The Greenbelt is also really important for biodiversity. So plucking out parts of it for housing development could really screw that up by fragmenting ecosystems. And biodiversity, which is the variety of all life on Earth, is very important for our survival, especially in the face of climate change. Let me give you an example of why. If bees, butterflies, beetles, and a few other species all pollinate flowering plants, the ecosystem will keep working even if one of those species gets wiped out because of disease or heat waves or whatever else. But if you have less biodiversity and it's just, say, bees who are pollinating those flowering plants, then that one species getting wiped out could create a big problem for our survival. So the Greenbelt is very, very important, and so is protecting it. But Ontario Premier Doug Ford has been caught playing footsie with the idea of cracking open the Greenbelt all the way since 2018, when the Ontario Liberals released this video of Ford speaking at a closed-door campaign event.
We will open up the Greenbelt, not all of it. We're going to open a big chunk of it up, and we're going to start building. I've already talked to some of the biggest developers in this country. And again, I wish I could say it's my idea, but it was their idea as well.
Yeah, he not only talked about cracking open the Greenbelt, but said it was the idea of developers. Fast forward to 2022, and we learn that not only is Doug Ford planning to go ahead and open up the Greenbelt, but that this move actually came at the request of a small group of well-connected developers who stood to make more than $8 billion from the deal. So obviously this became a very, very big deal, and Ford ended up apologizing and promising not to touch the Greenbelt. But he's made this promise many times over the years, including before the latest scandal, which the RCMP is still investigating. So that's a very simplified version of that whole ordeal. And all of that context brings us to Lisa Crompton's front doorstep, where she confronted Procurement Minister Todd McCarthy about the Greenbelt scandal ahead of the Ontario election. In response, he said that what she was telling him was, quote, fake news, and suggested the video she saw of Ford talking about this, the one that you guys also already watched in this video, was AI. Spoiler, it's not. Anyways, here is the Ring doorbell footage.
It was not handled well at all. The Premier said so. That's what I love about Premier Ford, is when he makes a mistake on procedure or otherwise, he says, I'm sorry, we're not doing it anymore, and we're going back to the commission on this.
Yeah, like, I'll give him that. He did go back on what he said, but
it's more strongly protected than it ever was. Too, right? He actually wasn't. That's not true. That is not true.
There's a video of him talking to developers beforehand, saying that he was going to open up the Greenbelt in a private meeting.
I think that's fake news. I know the Premier's track record on this.
Visually seen the video.
That's fake news. You know about AI? Be careful about what
he would have.
People could make anyone look like anything.
He absolutely would have seen
it. Well, I don't think I convinced you, but I'm happy to talk to you. Pleasure to see you.
Wow. Yeah. In a statement, Crompton told me that after this conversation, she, quote, walked inside to my husband and we just stared at each other in disbelief. The fact that an MPP and a minister at that would lie to my face and try to gaslight me was truly disappointing. I reached out to McCarthy to give him a chance to comment. and sent a follow-up. But he didn't respond by my deadline. But it looks like Global News got the same tip as me, and while I was editing, I noticed they published. And in their article, they say the Progressive Conservative campaign said that McCarthy didn't realize Crompton was talking about the 2018 video. They said, quote, Mr. McCarthy thought the constituent was referring to a new video, not the one from nearly a decade ago that has been widely reported. What new video? And what else has he misunderstood about people's concerns about this scandal while campaigning? Anyways, Ontario is set to vote in 2 days, so make sure you're registered. What do you think of all this?